Hi, this is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California, with a special hi to Mavis, the impetus behind this video, which is jumping back to Chaturanga. Notice I said jumping back to Chaturanga. I did not say jumping back to plank. Why? Because we do not jump to plank. When you jump to plank, I'm going to do this for you, but I would never do this in real life, and this is just pretend life, so it doesn't matter. When you jump to plank, you are sending a shock wave, literally, from your feet, up your legs, through your spine, then, which is awesome, from your shoulders all the way back down to your wrists as well. Any idea why we do not jump to plank? So, just know that when you're going backwards, it's either step to plank and lower, or it's jump to Chaturanga. And jumping to Chaturanga is what we're working on today. Here's the thing. In order to jump to Chaturanga, you gotta be able to do Chaturanga. So if you haven't already mastered your Chaturanga Dandasana, make sure to go to the circle eye icon in the top right-hand corner of this video, and it will direct you to 2 different Chaturanga videos that will make you so strong and so confident in this pose. Here's the reason why you never want to jump back if you can't do a good Chaturanga. God, I hate showing this bad stuff, but I'm going to anyway because your viewing pleasure. Here we go. When people jump to a bad Chaturanga, say like this. Come on, folks. This is terrible on your low back, horrible on your neck, and no good on your shoulders. Okay? So if you're collapsing in your midsection, you are way better off just stepping to plank. Guys, just know this. There's nothing wrong with stepping to plank. Okay? You only practice jumping back to Chaturanga when you can do Chaturanga. Now let's assume you can. So you're at the front of your mat, your hands are down, however low they can get. So I don't care if you're here or you're here. When you jump backwards, your palms must be flat. This is not flat, and this is not flat. You see this thumb thing? It's a really awesome way to tear off your thumbs. So that flat means flat. How do you get your hands flat if you don't have the flexibility in your hamstrings? I have an idea. Bend your knees. Okay? And if this is just so not in your repertoire of hamstringness, stretch your hamstrings, okay? Hamstrings, come on guys, these are really, really important to yoga, okay? The king of all hamstring stretches, we've got our Hanumanasana. Of course I've got a video on that, check it out. Okay, if bending the knees is not enough, you can take your hands a little bit in front as well and bend your knees, okay? Now, as with all my jumps, and I talk about this in my handstand jump videos, but we're not jumping to handstand today, just to Chaturanga Dandasana. When you jump, you would never jump in real life with flat feet, right? It doesn't do anything. So when you come down, you want to be on your tippy toes. So you want to have this nice springy action and palms are flat. Now, when we're thinking about jumping backwards, one thing that's going to happen is my heart, my chest, all this needs to go forward. Right? Because I'm trying to make a straight line with my body, and if my whole body moves backwards, then I wind up in something like a downward facing dog, and I think I just ripped my shoulder even just doing that. Please don't do that. When we jump backwards, in order to flatten out our bodies, the only way there's possibly going to be room is if as my legs go back, my heart goes forward. And so, first of all, I'm looking forward. Don't look down. Your neck is part of your spine, right? And we need a nice long spine. So with your gaze forward, as you jump backwards, elbows will bend, heart goes forward. I'm trying to bonk it to the wall in front of me. Okay? Where are my elbows in space? Well, because you watched my Chaturanga Dandasana videos, or maybe just because you know, the elbows are bent 90 degrees, right? Now, if the elbows come behind your wrists, you're going to collapse. Think about it. Let me get a block. Got a block. Think about it this way. If my elbow is above the wrist and my elbow is vertical like this, you see how stable it is. But if on the other hand, my elbow is going backwards, how stable is that going to be? Not. Thanks, block. Okay, so when I jump backwards, that's the other thing, is my elbow needs to stay above the wrist. Again, this is going to be accomplished by the forward moving action of the jump. So, on my tippy toes, I don't have to be really high, but you do want your heels off the floor. Elbows bend 90, heart goes forward. Okay. One of the very common mistakes that people make when they do this jump back is they tend to not engage their legs or their core very much, and they wind up doing like a belly flop. So if your jump is looking something like this, there's a good chance that not only is your core not working, not only are your thighs not working, but nothing's really working. So you gotta think of your jump back almost like an arm balance. Give your arms that much integrity. Lock them in space, and remember, no matter what the question, the answer is always core, right? So lots of core engagement, like strong as can be, and I know this is basic, but you gotta make sure that when you land, you're landing with your foot on the ball of the foot, instead of what I see all the time. Oh God, I really hate doing these. I've never demonstrated this bad, but I will. What I see is people landing on their toenails. I like that. Like maybe they're saving some time because they know they're gonna have to go into a cobra and up dog after. Guys. Toenails are tucked. Chaturanga, 90 degrees to the floor, and you gotta land at 90 degrees to the floor. The other thing I see people do is they jump back and they land in sort of this like half plank, half Chaturanga Dandasana, and then quickly correct and be like, oh yeah, that's Chaturanga. No, that's not Chaturanga. Remember that the jump back, the point is to get you to Chaturanga. Okay? It's not to jump back and get you to plank and then pretend that you're in Chaturanga. You guys know that there's no real Sanskrit term for plank position, right? Because plank position was created specifically for people who couldn't jump to Chaturanga so that they would have a nice, smooth, and safe transition. Now, on my jump back, something that I need to keep in mind is that my arms are working like crazy. I already mentioned this, but it's sort of like an arm balance. So try this. With your hands on the floor, press into the floor and see if you can just hop and hold. Just a little bit, little tiny hop and hold. Okay? So what I'm trying to do here is just learn to engage my core and my arms in the air. This is an exercise you definitely want to be able to do. This is very similar to my handstand hops, except we're only going an inch off the floor, 2 inches off the floor, just to get the sense of control in the arms and in the core. Hop and down. You see how light the movement is. Okay? Once you're able to do that and land quietly, it means that your core has gotten the control that it needs to come into your Chaturanga. Don't let go of the core. Now, core is very easy to obtain when I'm in like a crunchy position, right? So when I'm here, the core is natural. When I'm here, the core is not natural, right? Because a crunch is a natural engagement of the core, but lengthening is not, so you need to create that. Now I have my whole video, which is the Secret to All of Yoga video, which really explains how to maintain that core engagement in all poses, such as this one. Check it out. So when you jump backwards, instead of thinking of necessarily jumping straight back on the horizontal, which is just, right, which is fine, but it's not super organic, so it's just sort of very utilitarian. Let's get from the front of the mat and take it to the back of the mat. Let's think about getting a tiny bit of air. You don't need a lot, just a tiny little bit of a hop so that the core can engage in and hold on to that engagement as we extend out. So my hands are down, I look forward, okay? I'm on the balls of my feet. My elbows will stay over my wrist, my gaze is forward. I take a tiny hop up to engage the core and then extend the whole body long from the front and from the back. By creating that core engagement at the front of the mat, it makes it a lot easier to sort of hold on to it as you extend outwards towards the back of the mat. Okay? Last time. Let's do it as a part of the Surya Namaskara. It'll be inhale up, exhale down, inhale halfway up. Now, here come all those things, okay? Palms flat, lift to the balls of your feet, gaze is forward, elbows will bend in the air. Tiny bit of a hop lift and then shooting out, like you're jumping in a very small L. Notice how my arms sort of press me back. Up dog or cobra will be your inhale. And I always recommend taking that extra push up to downward facing dog. Okay? Stepping forward because we're not doing anything fancy right now. My whole point is just get you into Chaturanga. Hope this jump back works for you. Don't forget that I have a whole channel of full-length videos on Vimeo. You can link to it in the description below or off my YOGAthletica website. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.